Hi there, I'm Nancy with Cre8ive Cutz. Thanks for joining me. I know a lot of you that buy files from Cre8ive Cutz are Cricut Design Space users, so I thought I'd put together a quick video that shows you how to open up Cre8ive Cutz files in Cricut Design Space, how to change colors if you want to cut things a little bit differently, and just generally how my files are organized, so it makes it a little bit easier for you. So let's head to the computer and get started. So when you first log into Cricut Design Space, you'll see this home page, and we're going to come down here to My Projects and click on New Project. And this will bring you into the workspace. So in order to get a file into Cricut Design Space, we'll just click on the Upload icon, and then click on Upload Image. Click on Browse. Now this is a folder, this is the piece of cake pattern, which is actually free when you subscribe to the newsletter for Cre8ive Cutz. And when you download any of our files and unzip the pattern, this is the file structure that you'll see. So the PDF file here is your assembly instructions. All of our 3D patterns come with assembly instructions. And then you've also got 3 folders. And if you're working in Cricut Design Space, you want to go into the folder called Cricut Design Space Files, and then just pull in the SVG file that's sitting there. Now for most of the patterns, there's going to be one SVG file. Occasionally there's 2 or 3, just depending on the pattern. So if there were 2 or 3, then you would want to bring all of those in one at a time. So I'm just going to click on this and hit open. And you'll see now this is the piece of cake pattern pieces. It's uploaded the image. I have the option to change the name if I want to, but this is pretty descriptive, so I'm just going to leave it as is, and then click on Save. So that brings you back to the upload screen, and you can see here recently uploaded images. I can now see the piece of cake pattern pieces. So I'm just going to click on that, and then I'm going to hit Insert Images. And that brings all of the pattern pieces onto my working space. Now it's a little bit big for me to see because it does bring them in at full size. So I'm just going to come down here and zoom out a little bit so that I can see all the pattern pieces all at once. Now one thing to take note of is the size here that the pattern comes into Cricut Design Space at. What you'll want to do is open up your assembly instructions, that PDF file that comes with every pattern, and just compare the measurements in the assembly instructions to what you're seeing on the screen here. And if you're seeing something different, then you can just adjust these measurements to match what's in the assembly instructions. Now the other thing that you might want to do is change the colors that some of the pattern pieces are cut out of. So when I design a file, I generally have a look in mind for it. And in this particular instance, I created the flowers in 2 different colors because that's the look that I was going for on my sample piece of cake. But you might decide that you want to have the flowers cut in all the same color. So if you do want to change the colors on this, there's a couple ways that you can do this. You'll see over on the right-hand side here is all of your pattern pieces listed. And let's say, for example, I want to change these yellow flowers to pink, and I want to cut everything out of pink. So I'm going to come down to the yellow flowers. So you can see there's 7 different flowers here. And beside each one, there's a little dot. If I click on that dot, it pops out a color palette for me. So that's where I can go in and choose a different color. Now the colors that are already in the project are listed right up top here, so that makes it really easy to choose another color that's already in the project. So I'm just going to choose this pink, and now you can see that this one flower has changed to the pink color that the other ones are. So I'm going to continue doing that for all of the yellow flowers. Okay, so now all of my flowers are pink. So I'm happy with this the way it is, the dimensions the way that they are. I've got the colors selected the way that I want them, so I'm ready to cut this out. So I'm just going to come up here and click on Make It. And Design Space will automatically sort out all the different pieces into the colors that are needed. So you can see on the left-hand side here, I've got 2 sheets of the brown paper to cut out the cake pieces. And then I've got one sheet of lighter pink, and that's going to be for the icing. And then I've got one sheet with all of the flowers on it that's going to cut out of pink. So if I'm happy with that, then I can go ahead and actually send this to the cutter. So that's how easy it is to work with the Cre8ive Cutz 3D paper crafting patterns in Cricut Design Space. And the majority of our patterns are very seamlessly compatible with Cricut Design Space. There are a few older patterns that I'm still working on getting updated. But if you do happen to have one of those, just shoot me a note and I'll bump it to the top of the list. And if you have purchased patterns, as I'm updating them and adding the new zip files to the store, you will receive an email notification telling you that a pattern that you've purchased has been updated. And then you can just use the link that's in the email to go in and download the newest version. If you have any questions at all, feel free to send me an email. My email address is nancy@cre8ivecutz.com. I hope you enjoy playing with the patterns. There are some freebies that are available on the website. So if you haven't purchased any patterns from us before, you can download a couple of free ones. As I said, the piece of cake pattern is available for free once you sign up for the newsletter. So you can get a feel for how they work. And then of course, we've got a wide variety of fun projects in the store for you. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. And of course, please feel free to share it on social media, and happy crafting.